Alright, I promised you an update on the zero turn, and now that I've had a while to use it, I figured I'd go over the good, the bad, and the ugly. Basically, the good on it is the cut. It's unbelievable how nice this thing cuts. One of the things I really like is this height adjustment. How you just push that pedal down, turn the knob, and you got instant adjustment, and it does not move. It stays there. Everything is perfect on it. One of the problems that I don't like is these handles. Okay, you have to keep the handles in, and then you pull them out before you can put the emergency brake on. Now, if you're on a hill, you pop the handles out, and by the time you get the brake on, you've spun around sideways backwards. So it really seems that you should be able to put that brake on before you open the handles and go to neutral. That seems, I really don't like that feature on it. Now, the ugly is the deck. It's a beautiful cutting deck, but the person that engineered it put hardware. You can see it's hardware facing in. There's hardware all over the place, so it's not easy to scrape. That hardware catches all the grass clippings, they stick to it, and you can't just go over it with a scraper like you can on a stamped deck. So the deck does cut beautiful, but it sure is a pain in the neck to try and scrape in. That's because some idiot put all this hardware facing into it. So, that's the one thing that I really don't like about it. Basically, it's really a great mower. The engine is good, but the bad part about that is so far I've been using a little bit over 2 gallons of fuel an hour. So it seems to consume excessive fuel. I figured it, would be about 1.5 or so, but maybe it'll get better once it's broken in. But at this point in time, it really does suck fuel down. But it does do a lot of work too. I will give it, that credit. So, pretty much that's it. And you can see that the fuel tank actually is down under the seat, a lot of it, and that it makes it be amazing on side hills. I could take this on hills that would easily flip my Kubota BX, and that's one really big positive about it, the wide wheelbase and stuff. Now the drive motors, the oil level is there. You can open that and look in to check it. And there's also little openings on the side there, so it's very easy to keep track that you have the proper amount of oil in your drive motors. So basically that's that's pretty much what I've found so far. Oh yeah, and on the seat is the most comfortable seat I've ever sat in, but really poor construction. There's like pieces sticking out and sticky stuff all over it and stuff, so they did skimp somewhere on putting it together. Now before I mow here today, I'm going to go out and weed whack just a little bit. My weed whacking has been cut way down with this mower, and I will say that these Milwaukee machines that I bought are the best. Just amazing how they work and how comfortable they are to use. No vibration and good balance. So you can see the dandelions are up, and I'm going to be cutting this today. And I'm not going to show you cutting it because you've all seen that. But here we are, an hour and 3 minutes later. Everything's cut. You can see I've done a beautiful job. You can see I did the whole top half of my property over there, around along the road, all the way down to the next lot. And the cut is just amazing. I look at my neighbor's got this big expensive Ferris with all kinds of suspension and stuff on it, and the cut is just all scalping, and every time the suspension hits a bump, the cut goes bad. And this thing you can see it just did a beautiful job. And that suspension seat actually is the most comfortable suspension seat I've been on, and I'm mowing this at, I'd say probably about 9 to 10 miles an hour right now. I'm not quite wide open yet. Going to let it break in a little bit, but did almost 4 acres up here in an hour and 3 minutes. And it used to take over 2 hours with the BX. So definitely is a time saver, but You know, it does use a lot more fuel than the BX, but I guess it comes out about equal in the end. And it's really easy to whip around trees and get in between things. So, you know, I'm going to say it's really a big winner for me. If only they made the deck right. And you can see under the deck when I'm done mowing there, it's still clean. Nothing builds up under there. I've seen people, you know, put videos out where they showed it full of grass. I don't know what they did, but I will say that it's, you know, it just really is a great machine. Now, I've been trying to get down at the bottom with my BX there, and you can pretty much see it's all coated with mud. I sunk it in the mud, and we had to pull it out using the sidekick the other day, trying to mow the bottom. It's still kind of wet and muddy down there. Every time it dries up, we get another 2 inches of rain. It's been a crazy spring. So now I'm going to do my oil change. I told you I'd do that at the end. And I bought the Kawasaki oil, and the dealer said you want to make sure you use this oil because it does contain a zinc in it. It's a semi-synthetic with zinc, and that really makes these engines last long. Now, the filter he sold me is different than the one that came on it, but I'll go over that in a little while, you know, what they do. So get ready for the oil change, and you really don't have to remove this back panel here, but I decided it would make quicker access, and it also would be better for videoing it. You could actually see, you know, what it takes to change oil on it. So I just took the 4 screws out here, and oopsie, but it comes right out. Pretty heavy piece of metal too, and there you have access to a valve to turn the oil on and off, and the filter. So I started with a ratchet just to loosen it up. This is the first time, and then just took a big screwdriver to the slot in there, and you just open the valve up and let the oil out. No mess, no nothing. They've got a cutout right there, you can see, and nothing underneath it, so it drains right straight down into a pan. No mess at all. And there it is. You know, it's really easy to do it, and you actually don't have to take that cover off, but I think it's worth the time. And there's the oil filter right up above it. So this thing is really red hot. I just got done mowing, and it's got about 8.4 hours on time to do the first change. And you want to be careful you don't screw that out too far, though, because it actually will pop out, it looks like. So I got the oil drained, and now I'm going to take the filter. I like using these plastic wrenches because when you've got a red-hot oil filter and hot oil and everything, they really do make it easy to grip it and get it out of the way and not make too much of a mess. You know, it does provide some insulation so you don't get burned. And the hot oil you spill on your hand, well, that's something else. But, you know, I didn't make too much of a mess there. And really pretty easy to clean it up because it's all brand new. So that's pretty much it. Oil's drained. I let it drain for an extra half an hour just to make sure everything came out of there. But the oil looked like brand new yet, so I don't know why they want you to change it at around 8 hours. But I did what they said. Now, I also, they don't tell you to change a filter, but my dealer said that they found that it's best to change a filter at the first oil change also. So I bought the filter too. Didn't cost that much. So here's a filter that they sold me, and apparently there's 2 style filters for this motor. The one that came on it, you can see, is a shorter filter. And it seems to have be the same diameter but shorter, and it's got all different oil passages. I'll show you in a second. But the one that he sold me is a bigger filter. It's a longer filter, and apparently it's the older one. They made the new one shorter so they could put this engine in more machines, I guess. But you can see there in the top, looking at it, the oil flow holes here are completely different. The older filter seems to have, you know, more area for it to flow in, but I don't know. This is the one my dealer recommended, so I bought it. And I'm just going to put a drop of the oil in there. You know, I like to fill the filter up, but on an angle you really can't. And again, I'm going to put that plastic cap wrench on there. Makes it easier for me to turn in. And this filter, you wait till the gasket contacts, and then you turn it 3/4 of a turn after that. So you can see it only takes a couple minutes. I spent more time waiting for it to drain than anything else. So I'm going to start by filling it with 2 quarts of oil. Manual says with a filter it takes 2.2 quarts. And my dealer said that you'll be in the middle of the range if you just use 2. So I'm just going to start by 2 and just let that drain for a while to get every last drop out. And clean things up a little bit so you don't have oil all over. And just put the dipstick back in. I'm going to start it up. They say to start it and run it for 3 minutes and check for leaks. Oops, I forgot. You got to sit on the seat to get it to start. There's an interlock on the seat. So I'm just going to start it up here and let it run for the 3 minutes. And one of the things that you want to watch for when you first start it up is, I'll show you in a second. Right up there, there's a little red light for the oil pressure. That light right there, that should go off like in one and a half seconds. If that doesn't, you've got a problem with your oil flow. So that went right off within about a second, and I let it run for 3 minutes, shut it off, and then check for leaks, as they say. And everything looked good. Everything was still dry. No problems at all. And this will be put in jugs to take back to recycle. Geez, when I was a kid, we used to dump it on the driveway to keep the dust down. Amazing how times have changed. So now I'm going to check the oil. You unscrew the stick, and for this one, you just put it in. You don't screw it back in to check the oil. And sure enough, it's right about in the middle of the between empty and full. So I'm going to put that last 0.2 quarts in there. So really you do need, to get it filled right back up again, you do need the 3 quarts of oil. And this oil is fairly expensive, I will tell you, too. But it's worth it, to have something that'll make an engine last. And then just put the shield back in, and that's it. Everything's all ready to go again, and I think I don't have to change this again until about 100 hours, so I should be good till next year. So that's done and buttoned up now, and one other issue that I did run into, I'll show you in a second, is getting this thing into my trailer. My dump trailer, the back floor of it is 27 inches high, and with the ramps, I'm checking to try to get up it with this mower, so I've decided this week the dump trailer is going up for sale. I'm going to sell it and get something different with a tailgate on it that can be just flipped down in a much lower bed height. Here's an old car trailer that I have that I used when I moved up here, and this thing actually would need a complete rebuild, but that's on one of my options too, is build the tailgate for it that flips down and put all new tires and deck and stuff on it. But I'm probably going to wind up selling them both and just replacing it with an actual landscape trailer, because I really don't need this dump trailer anymore. And anyhow, here we are looking up from the bottom here. You can see hour and 3 minutes. I can't believe I cut this whole thing. It was like unbelievable, and it really amazed me how fast you can go on this thing. One other thing I've been doing is trying to clean up the blow-down EAB killed ash down in the bottom half there. So I did get one load out, and that actually killed me for about 3 days, just that little load there. So trying to build up some muscles and go down and get the rest of it out. So anyhow, I just wanted to do an update and, let you know how this thing was working out and just show you how nice it cuts. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.